This tail valve is different than Vyas Puja.
This Tirobhav is different to Vyas Puja.
Because tail valve was the celebration of the departure of the Guru.
Tirobhav is the celebration of the departure of the Guru.
That the legacy that he left.
The legacy that he left.
We have to, his followers, his associates, they need to meditate and see how that can be carried out.
His followers, his associates, need to meditate to see how that can be carried out.
So this is a very important time.
So this is a very important time
to meditate on the great qualities of His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj.
To meditate on the great qualities of His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj.
And also how to carry on the legacy which he has left us.
And also how to carry on the legacy he has left us.
He has showed us how to serve Prabhupada.
He showed us how to serve Prabhupada.
In an unparalleled way.
In an unparalleled way.
He was a real friend also.
He was a real friend also.
Everything he did, he really did nice.
Everything he did really nice.
One day, Tamal Krishna Maharaj came to visit Mahavishnu Goswami. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was somewhere in England at the time, so he came, made a special trip. And Mahavishnu Goswami was lying there in very poor condition, materially. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj was holding his hand. And Mahavishnu Goswami said, "You know, Maharaj, I think I'm going to leave." And he started repeating that, and Tamal Krishna Goswami, holding his hand, he gripped it more firmly and sort of shook his hand and encouraged him and said, "No, no, no, you're all right. Krishna's looking after you. You'll come through." And Mahavishnu Goswami said, "No, you know, I think I'm going to leave. I think it's going to happen just right now." And Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, "No." He said, you can't leave now. There's so much service for you to do." And then, you know, Mahavishnu Goswami was just repeating this, that he's going to leave. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, "No." He said, "I'm going to be the first to leave." He said, "I want to be there and receive all the Vaishnavas when they come."
In the later days in Vrindavan, Srila Prabhupada would wake up in the morning and his first question would be, "Where is Tamal?" And I would run and tell Tamal Krishna Maharaj that Prabhupada is calling you. And no matter whatever he was doing at the time, he would just drop everything and just come to Prabhupada's bedside. And together they would talk for long time. And I could see how much confidence Srila Prabhupada had on him. And also how competent Srila Tamal Krishna Maharaj was, that he would always ask so many wonderful questions to Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada would very affectionately answer those questions.
Book distribution was very dear to Prabhupada, and we saw how when Tamal Krishna Maharaj went back to America and started the Radha Damodar party, he knew what was dear to Prabhupada, and he started encouraging book distribution. And at one time, the Radha Damodar party was distributing books that were equal to the whole society. In other words, the whole society was distributing as many books as the Radha Damodar party alone was distributing. So Prabhupada wanted book distribution, and he sent Tamal Krishna Maharaj to America, and he took this task very seriously. So we all heard how Tamal Krishna Maharaj was very determined. I saw that myself. He was very determined, perfectionist. His real goal was to please Prabhupada and do what was best for ISKCON. And he also was very exemplary in his sadhana. He was very dedicated to Prabhupada. In fact, if you read the Leela Amrita, amongst all the devotees you find most reference is made to Tamal Krishna Maharaj because he was like Prabhupada's right hand. Prabhupada used to consult him, Prabhupada used to take his advice, and he was always ready to serve Prabhupada in any activity that was needed to push on Krishna consciousness.
Somewhere around 1989 in Vrindavan, at 2 o'clock in the morning, somebody came to my room and they were tapping on the window. 2 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't know what it was. And I got up and it was Gurudev's secretary. They said, Gurudev has to see you immediately. I said, my God, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. They said, no, Gurudev has to see you right now. So very obediently, I rose and took a quick shower, put my dress, and I went to Gurudev's house. And I went in, and when I was there, he was in a state. And many times, those who were close to him, they would know how he could get himself worked up into a very intense state. And he looked at me and he said, Prabhu, he said, I need association. I want the association of my God brothers so badly. He said, I had such a loving relationship with Vishnu Jan, and Vishnu Jan went away. He said, I want the association with my God brothers. I need their association to protect me. He said, now I'm preaching in China. He said, you don't understand what those people are like. He said, I need the help of my God brothers. And then he began speaking about God brothers. The first God brother he spoke about was His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. He said, Jayapataka, he is such a pious man. He said, you just look at him and you can see his piety. He said, you just see how he had Prabhupada's association. See the service that he's rendering in Gordam. He said, if I could just have his association. And then he said, and Bhakti Charu Maharaj, he said, he is so pious and so wonderful. If I could just have his association, but he's so busy. And then he said, and Shivaram Maharaj, he says, he's such a wonderful Vaishnav. He is so pious. If I could just have his association. And he said, therefore, please come with me and give me your association. Naturally, I was overwhelmed. And I looked at him and I said, but Jayapataka Maharaj, Shivaram Maharaj, Bhakti Charu Maharaj, I said, I'm not like those people. They are so pious. And he looked at me and he said, no, I understand that. You're not a pious person. He said, but still I want your association.
For Tamal Krishna Maharaj, it was the sweetness of the relationships that was paramount. Although, he was famous in our society for being such a demanding manager, down to the last detail of everything. But actually, the real Tamal, if you like, or the soft as the rose, that was more prominent. And when you got close to him, that was all the relationship that he required. And he would put aside the other stuff in order to maintain that sweetness.
The day before he left, he was talking, yes, tomorrow I'm going back home, tomorrow I'm going back home. Although he was going to Cambridge, and that's how we took. I think he was talking to B.B. Govind Maharaj like that. I'm going back home tomorrow, and everybody, he's returning to Cambridge, where he continues to study. That's his home. But the next day, we took another meaning of that going back home. I'm going back home tomorrow. He was very jolly and he was talking like that.
Srila Prabhupada saw in Tamal Krishna Maharaj a disciple who would do anything and everything for him, at the risk of his life, his popularity, his everything. Therefore, he could entrust Goswami Maharaj with services that no one else in our movement and no one else in the world could do. Prabhupada wanted to get this land in Mayapur. He sent some of his top disciples who were experienced in India, and they utterly failed. But then he sent Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Yesterday, Sripad Brahmananda Prabhu told me he sent Goswami Maharaj because he knew no one else could do it. He spent weeks struggling, striving to make this arrangement against all odds. It was actually impossible. And finally, after great effort, he purchased the land. He came to Calcutta in the middle of the night. All the lights were closed except Srila Prabhupada's room. Goswami Maharaj came into the room and Prabhupada said, "I've been waiting for you." Goswami Maharaj gave him the deed and said, "Srila Prabhupada, the land in Mayapur is yours." Prabhupada said, "Thank you very much. Now you can take rest."
When I first came to the temple, there were many devotees there, but he was the only one who came up and spoke to me when I first walked in the door. So he made me feel welcome and part of the family. And then he told me, he said, when these devotees leave for London, there's not really going to be any good association for you here. So you should either go with them to London or you should go to the East Coast where there's some senior devotees. So I'm struck right now thinking how this is a great lesson to ISKCON managers, that if we have an attitude of doing what's best for that devotee will be happy. And I will also, as a manager, be happy, and the temple will feel happy. But if we have a miserly attitude, thinking, well, if I let this person go, then who will wash the pots, or who will do this or do that, then we'll always be in that impoverished mentality, and we'll be very unhappy in our temples. So he was very broad-minded, and just look how many devotees Krishna sent to him. It's amazing.
Tamal Krishna Maharaj himself writes in his book Servant of the Servant, "Molded by Prabhupada's experienced hand, my life was being dovetailed with Krishna's desire. In an early letter, Prabhupada had referred to me as a future pillar of ISKCON. His words were kind and encouraging. If it was Prabhupada's desire that I should serve in a greater capacity, I knew it would only be possible if he made me qualified." We saw a very sweet relationship between Srila Prabhupada and His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj in the year 1977, when Tamal Krishna Maharaj had helped Srila Prabhupada in making certain arrangements to come to London to see his European disciples for the last time. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was really like a shadow following Srila Prabhupada wherever he was and made arrangements. It was very moving at that time to see how he was really very fixed in Guru Seva.
I met Goswami Maharaj in 69, again in 70, 72 in India. In the early days, I always heard stories that Prabhupada had said that he was Bhakti Siddhanta's #1 grandson, so I always had great reverence. When I met him, I felt like a fly is meeting an elephant.
ISKCON without Tamal Krishna Maharaj is something like Lakshmi without Narayan, or something that is supposed to be, is so much the one of the main pillars, founding fathers, like the main artery in the body of Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON.
Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki jai.